Welcome back, fellow adventurers. Michelle Trias and storyteller here with Joe DeBone, our road captain, retired firefighter, outdoorsman, biker for many, many years. And we have gone on a trip together with a group of us. And we are back here to talk about another day, actually 2 days that we're combining. We spent after we did Beartooth, then we went to Yellowstone. The day on Yellowstone, Gary led us over at Yellowstone Park, and then we went over to spent the day just to get our legs back, our sea legs back. We went to the Cody Museum in Cody, Wyoming. And it was a great day. We learned a lot, and there was so much to see all day there. It was great. What did you enjoy, Joe?
Well, I'm a firearms enthusiast, and I certainly enjoyed the firearms exhibit there. There's over 4,400 firearms, from modern to antique to primitive to the latest sophisticated weapons. There's so many that I'm pretty knowledgeable on the subject, but I couldn't grasp the whole thing. It was pretty amazing. It was a great exhibit. That's the largest single exhibit of firearms under one roof anywhere, and lots of them historic value. Guns that were used in TV shows, gun from Bonanza that Cartwrights had, Matt Dillon's guns, the whole bit up to modern time, guys. But that wasn't the whole exact part of the whole museum. There's 5 separate museums there. There's a museum of Western art. Frederick Remington has a bunch of his original paintings there. Anybody knows about Frederick Remington? He was one of the most famous Western artists. Then there was the Buffalo Bill Cody part of the museum.
Yeah, that was great.
All about Bill Cody. We'll get to that a little bit. And then there was a museum of natural history, which gave the history of from like tundra down to alpine, down to the swamp.
Beautiful.
Started on top with the animals that lived up on the top and worked your way downstairs, and it got to the animals, big and small, the whole bit. It was a great.
And then American Indians.
Was
wonderful.
A great display.
Showed how they their history too.
Yeah, I've been through Cody 4 or 5 times. When a bunch of guys whizzing by there at 40 miles an hour, like, what was that?
On the motorcycle.
Cody Museum. I want to stop there one day. So finally I had a bunch of people. Of course, it was 96 degrees. That helped a little bit too.
That was the one hot day.
It was the one hot day we had.
It wasn't heat doing.
Yeah.
But we went in there and it was fantastic. I think we went there at like 8:30 and we walked out at 2:30 and we felt like we barely touched the surface.
Yeah, no, they give you a 2-day pass, and basically if you want to see a whole lot of it, you need 2 days to see it.
I see why.
Yeah. It was great. Yeah. I'd wanted to get in there for a long time.
And it was great to learn a little bit about
Buffalo
Bill.
Yep.
I get them kind of mixed up all the time.
Buffalo Bill and Billy the Kid. Yeah, the people confuse them. Buffalo Bill Cody. Billy the Kid was kind of like an outlaw gunfighter. Buffalo Bill Cody.
And he created that museum, which is pretty cool. Sometimes it's people later on that create museums, but he actually created himself.
Yeah, Buffalo Bill.
And Cody itself, the town.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
he established, which is very cool.
Appropriately is named after him.
Yes, he's a known.
Cody is your typical
outdoorsman.
Cody is one of your typical Western towns out there. There's no high buildings, no high rises. Rows, Main Street, restaurants, Western wear, Western garb, saddleries, boots, saddles, and then rodeo we went to. So it's just a pretty amazing place. And put in a mention of a friend of mine that owns the Cody Steakhouse. Frank, if you're watching this. Great time, good food. Thank you so much. Frank Cochi, originally from Norwalk, runs a Cody Steakhouse. We had dinner there a couple nights at this place. Anybody gets around there, make sure you stop at the Cody Steakhouse. Tell them that I sent you.
I love the was it fried green tomatoes?
Fried green tomatoes.
I'm sorry, I never had it.
Which none of us ever had before.
Yeah. And he has the best cream on it and a little bit of crab on it.
Just amazing.
It was great. And he and everyone there are just the best hostess.
The staff is phenomenal. You drop a napkin on the floor before you can bend over to pick it up.
And it was across the street actually from, I think it was called Ira. It was Buffalo Bill's daughter's name. I think it was called the Ira Hotel, and that was a really cool place.
Yeah, very historical.
Very cool.
Very historical. Fortunately, when we were there, like I said in the previous bit, the news media back east kind of ruined everybody's plans of going out to the west because they said it was so hot.
Yeah.
It wasn't
No,
wasn't
nothing.
much
Just
much more than
typical.
normal.
Yeah,
Typical, yeah,
August. Yeah.
much more than normal. So we were able to get around all these places,
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
problem at all. It was
And
all
part
good.
of the exhibition there was Buffalo Bill just showing everything about his life. He actually, at one point in time, he was hired by the railroad to bring in meat for the workers. So obviously there's no factories
Hence-
there.
Hence
So
Buffalo Bill.
Hunts Buffalo Bill, yes.
When he was younger, rumor has it that when he was 13, 14 years old, he rode the Pony Express. It was some kind of courier of some kind.
Yeah, something for
somebody.
the government. He got
Yeah.
an award or
Then-
something over that.
Then later on, it was most famous for Buffalo Bill's Wild West show.
Yes,
He
brought the West to,
he-
to
yeah, he-
people.
he would travel all through the Midwest and the
Europe,
East
too.
and Europe and bring his entourage with him. He had Native Americans and
With him.
cowboys, and
Yes.
they'd bring the whole kind of bit in Buffalo, and they do some stage things on some chasing buffalo, herding buffalo, and there was some fights and the whole kind of bit. Yeah, it was a pretty good show.
Yeah, and later in life, he really formed a lot of close relationships with the American Indians.
Yep.
Nice. Cute little hut. Beautiful. How long have you been painting, Sarah?
I've been painting for over 20 years.
Really?
Yeah.
You did all
Not these up here, but I did all these.
beautiful. And where do you live?
I live in Denver, Colorado.
In Denver. Okay. Good. Beautiful work.
Thank you.
Dogs were reluctant.
Strengthen the body, mind, body, and spirit. Sweat lodge. Storyteller.
It was a good, very good. The museum was very, very enlightening.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
a lot of interesting stuff there.
So
Like I said, you need a couple of days to see it.
So give my iron butt a rest that day.
Yeah,
and
we
then,
did.
Yeah.
I think first day.
Then the next day we went to the Tetons, the Grand Tetons.
Yeah, we took a ride. That's the south gate of Yellowstone. So
What is it that brought you to live the way you do now? Like, how do you live now?
Well, we sold our house, all our property, our horses and everything, and we bought a motorhome.
Mhm.
This is our 3rd year traveling. So we just travel around and see things that we want to see. You know, because my husband don't fly. So
Okay.
he's not got to travel a lot because he won't fly. Like I'm going on a cruise in September with my grandkids. He won't go because he won't fly back to Florida. He won't fly to Florida. So, but we just travel around and see the world, you know. And it's amazing though, the things you see.
And how long have you been doing it?
This is our 3rd year.
For 30 years.
This is our 2nd season here because we came to see Yellowstone. And then because of the flood, we didn't get to see the north entrance and the northeast entrance. So we came back to see everything we didn't see.
Oh, okay. And so you came here at the Yellowstone.
And so
What's it called again?
Yellowstone Valley Inn.
Yellowstone.
So we work when we want to work, and when we don't, we don't.
Nice.
And I tell everybody I got a small house but a big yard. I don't have to maintain it, and it changes all the time.
That's the best.
Yes, it is. It really is. It's a good life, you know, because we wanted to retire, and that was our retirement. It's how we decided we could retire.
And to see the parks and where are you going next?
We're going to go to Yosemite, Sequoia. And we're going to go to Utah and see the Canyonlands, the Arches, because we've seen the other 2 parks, so we're going to see those 2. And then we're going to Texas. We're going to travel up Fort Worth and see the stockyards, because I heard that's very interesting. Because I'm a cowgirl, I love to ride horses. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so, and that was the hardest thing, was to give up my horses. That was the hardest thing I
That's very
did.
difficult.
Yes. Because I've been riding I had a horse for 43 years, so just giving up my horses was, so everywhere I go I ride horses. So here I ride at Blackwater Creek because I rode a bunch of places and they were the most scenic and they had different trails.
So how do you think it's changed you, just this experience of living in the RV and traveling and everything? How do you see things differently?
You learn you don't need a lot of stuff that you always thought you needed. You really don't need them.
Just all that house stuff to take care
Yes,
of?
you don't need it. I still throw away stuff in my motorhome. You know, after a while, if I haven't used it, then I get rid of it and you learn you don't need stuff so big. You can do with smaller stuff. You know, I had to adjust because I looked for 2 years for the floor plan that I wanted in a motorhome that I could afford.
Right.
So, because I need opposing slides. So 7 people can sit in my living room and you're not cramped.
Nice.
So, but my motorhome's only set up for 2 to live in.
Oh, okay.
So I don't have all the extra
community
beds.
space is larger. Okay. Now, is it a 5th wheel or is it?
No, it's a Class A motorhome.
Okay.
Right.
And do you trailer?
We pull our Jeep behind it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We tow our Jeep, and we have 2 e-bikes that we ride, and we put those in the back of our Jeep. Because our Jeep, for some reason, when we put our hitch on, it won't go in far enough because the gas tank sits too far back in that Jeep. It's an older Jeep.
Oh.
So the bar won't go in far enough to be real stabilized with the bikes on it. So we just took the back seat out, fold the bikes up, and put them in there.
Now, how many times did you go on a trip with the RV, with everything, so you kind of knew before you took the big
We
dive?
only went on one.
Oh, you only went on
We
one
went
trip?
out one trip, and then we left to go to South Dakota. That was our first adventure. Was to South
Okay,
Dakota.
all right. And do you think you prepped everything well
Yeah,
enough
we
on that one
did.
trip?
'Cause I read so much and did so much research and read everybody else's blogs and everything of how they do it. And so yeah.
And how do you find like when you came here for a season? Do you do it once a year? How many times
try
over
to
the course
travel.
of the year?
We try to travel for 6 months and then not 6 months straight, but maybe like to come in here, you have to do 6 months straight because it's a 5 months that you work here.
Oh, it is 5 months.
Yeah, it's
here.
5
Okay.
months that you work here.
So it's usually kind of. And how do you find the gigs?
I look to where I want to go. If it, like I want to go to Glacier, so I will choose an area in Glacier, and then I just call all the parks around there and see who's hiring and what they're hiring, or you know, if I'm wanting to work.
Nice.
That's what I do. If not, I look at all the reviews on how, you know, other people's experience was in the park. And some of them you have to overlook because some people pick on every little thing.
Right.
So you just have to go through all the reviews and see. So that takes a lot of time. We do that even when we travel, like when we start traveling. I have researched everywhere we're going, all the campsites, to see where we want to stay at each, where my stuff take, you know, somebody steal my e-bikes, break into your, so you want to stay in safe areas.
Yeah.
So you just Google is a great thing.
That's right. All right.
Just Google everything.
Well, thank you for everything.
Oh, you're welcome.
And you
guys
and Larry really made it a great experience. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And I hope you guys enjoy your trip today.
Yep. Tetons. We're off.
And went down to see the Tetons, and we actually viewed them from across Jackson Lake.
Jackson Lake, what a beautiful view it was. It really was.
Spectacular. They come straight out of the ground, no foothills, just straight up to, I think, 12,000 feet. So yeah, just amazing mountain range. We took a ride down past the viewpoint, turned around, and came back on 14 or 14A, whatever it was, and you could get a better look at them as you were riding back up north. Just an incredible place. We didn't make it to Jackson Hole. We wanted to spend the night in Jackson Hole, but there was nothing available. We waited too late to book a room.
Right. So. And then also, I mean, I was happy just to see the Grand Tetons and just get a view of that history. I honestly, I wasn't that interested to go into Jackson Hole. You know, I'm going to read this. There's a quote. It made me think, the night before we were talking about going there, it made me think of a movie. It's called The Tall Men. It was a 1950s movie with Clark Gable and Robert Ryan. And what was the woman's name again? Who was in there? She was real hot.
I don't
Beautiful
remember.
woman. Can't recall her name right now. But it made me think of a quote. And near the end of the movie is about two men that want to make a good living for them, or decent living for themselves. One, Robert Ryan, his character, wants to have a lot of money and he wants a pretty wife, everything that people could see. And then you also had Clark Gable, and he had fought in the war, and he was just looking to reestablish life again and have some income, and he just wanted to live in a nice little town. I don't recall the name right now, but at the end, Robert Ryan, who made the money that he wanted to, parted ways with Clark Gable, and Ryan Stark, with all his money, said, "There goes the only man I ever respected. He's what every boy thinks he's going to be when he grows up, and wishes he had been when he's an old man." I thought about that movie, and I decided I really didn't want to go down in Jackson Hole because I've heard about the changes, and I wasn't interested in going to see it. But Joe had been there before. When's the last time you were in Jackson Hole?
Another 25, 30 years ago, when I was at Jackson Hole, it was a great cowboy town. There was a square.
You'd go on your motorcycles.
I'd go on motorcycles. I camped.
Bikers.
I camped on the Snake River, going down in there, and it was a great cowboy town. And we ride in there. There's a place called the Cowboy Bar.
Right.
It's four sides to the bar, and you put your foot in the stirrup and get up in the saddle, and you have your drink or whatever you have in the saddle, and it's in the town square. And the town square has got 4 inches ways. There's an arch on either corner of elk antlers that are collected by the Boy Scouts when the elk come down in the winter and they shed. They shed their antlers. Jackson Hole, from Yellowstone Park down to Jackson Hole, Jackson Hole is a place they call the corridor. Mm-hmm. The elk that are wintering in Yellowstone migrate a long way. They'll come down and get in the valley and migrate down the corridor that takes them down towards Jackson Hole because it's low level, not a lot of snow, and there's plenty of grass to eat all winter. And they do that every year.
Right, for that terrain, right?
Yeah, they
Okay.
do that about every year. They go down there.
Okay, so
And
migrate.
like I said, when I was there, it was basically a kind of a little sleepy little cowboy town. But I understand now it's all been taken over by entrepreneurs. There's hotels, motels, condominiums, are very commercialized. So just as well I didn't see it, I probably would have been disappointed.
Yeah, I would have
You
been
know?
disappointed. So
Yeah.
I was happy just to
Yeah.
see from Jackson Lake there, but it was
Yep.
a beautiful day. I'm glad we had another chance to go through Yellowstone Park. You know, on our ride, it was hard I didn't really take a lot of footage just riding through the park because really you're riding through the pines.
Parks, until you get to one of the attractions in the park, it's a lot of pine trees.
Right.
Yeah. Until you
right.
get to one of the lakes or the hot springs,
Yeah, the hot springs
or herd of
something.
buffalo or something. Yeah, it's pretty much a lot of pine trees.
It's kind of neat too, just to realize. I'm like, I just don't think much about people camping out there, but yeah, it was nice to see families and people there. I noticed a difference between the Yellowstone and camping, and then the Black Hills in South Dakota. But we'll talk about that a little bit down the road.
That's another.
Pretty interesting. Yeah. Very interesting.
Yeah.
The last ride was a beautiful ride, and we will share that next. And that was
we went up to Chief Joseph's Scenic Byway, which to me is one of the top 10 roads anywhere in this country. There's views and vistas. There's switchbacks 3, 4, 5 in a row. You can't take your eyes off the road.
Beautiful.
But when you get to the place, there's some vistas there you can see for 10, 15, 20 miles off the side of some of these mountains.
We made our way over to
Cook City, Montana.
So we will talk about that on our next time here together.
Cook City's at the northeast gate of Yellowstone.
All right, perfect.
That's where I ran in. I couldn't find a place and slept with the buffalo. But
okay. All right, so we will see you very soon. And in the meantime, keep your hearts open and minds open and wheels on the ground. See you soon. Bye.
Ride hard or stay home.
There you go. Keep your eye on the road. Bye.